Welcome back. We're here live at Xposure 2024. We're at the Nikon Frame by Frame podcast. I've got the pleasure of being joined by Mr. OPM, renowned international wedding photographer. So first of all, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Andy, for having me here. It's a pleasure being here. I'm so excited for the event and now for your podcast.
No, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. For those that don't know you, could you take us through your journey in photography, how you got into photography and how you became a wedding photographer?
Yeah, sure. So my full name is Usman Pervez Mughal, and the initials of my name is basically the name of the company. That's what we call OPM. We have a page on Instagram, and we've also got a page on Facebook. Almost 1 million followers on Facebook and 500,000 on Instagram. I've been doing a lot of different kinds of photography, but our main scope and main genre is wedding photography.
Yep.
We've been doing this for the last 10 to 12 years now. We started with one wedding a month, and then we went up till 10 weddings a day. And we've been doing all kinds of wedding photography. We've been doing...
Did you say 10 weddings a day?
Yeah, I did. It's not every day, but that's the
Wow.
maximum we can do. We try to go more than that, but then it got really hectic for us because we couldn't even remember the names of the couples. We were mixing up one bride with the other groom, and then we were like, no, let's just stay
Oh,
under
wow.
10.
I mean, my wedding was stressful enough just for me, but I can't imagine 10
I'm sure.
weddings, 10 weddings in one day. That's
Yeah. I'm sure,
that's
man.
amazing.
But you gotta push your limits, because we don't even know our limits, what we can do in our life. So the main thing is that what I believe is that we have to take risk in our life. Because I started back in the days, because when you high risk brings high return.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't study art. I wanted to study art, or I wanted to study photography before I started it. But before this, I started accounting, and then I started business. I've done my master's in business, and I was on scholarship in my university. So, and then all of a sudden we just started doing photography, and it went good.
And so
really
what sort
nice.
of photography? You said you're doing different photography at the start. What sort of photography?
So I did wedding photography, and then I did product photography.
Yep.
I did landscapes, and I did wildlife in Kenya. I did fashion shoots. I did shoots for products. But then again, weddings was one of the things that I really enjoyed. One of the main reasons was that you get to meet real people, right?
Yeah.
You can't you're not just making any one person giving you fake impressions or crying for the fake for the shots. Weddings are real things because people do get emotional.
Yeah.
And you might you if you're shooting a wedding, you might cry as well at the time of the rukhsati. Rukhsati is like when the bride is actually going to her new house. Yeah, it's very interesting. So that's why I got into weddings.
But I can imagine weddings on the whole can be quite a stressful situation.
They are.
How do you manage the stress of not just one wedding, but managing the photography of multiple weddings at one time?
I think in life, if you're being stressful about something, if you're scared of something, if you're taking stress from something, you should just do it for once.
Yeah.
Because if we're scared of something, we don't do it, and it gives us more stress. So I think if we just do whatever we're scared of, right? The only thing we can get is you might just get failure, right?
Yeah.
But we all forget that failure is actually the first step towards success.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that approach. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And talk us through obviously you've gone way beyond a one-man band type thing. Can you talk me through the gears that you guys are using, not just for one wedding photographer, but for a team of photographers?
Yeah. So
and
back in
videographers?
Pakistan, what we do is I've done weddings in Pakistan. I've done weddings in the US as well, UK. But so back in Pakistan, how we do it is we usually send in 3 photographers and 3 videographers and 1 guy on the drone. So that's how we cover weddings over there. And somebody was asking me why 3 photographers or why 3 videographers. So they're like, so back in Pakistan, the weddings are crazy. People would spend a lot. People will try to show off a lot, and then obviously it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Plus, the time duration for the wedding is not that much as compared to the weddings in US. Last year I was doing a lot of weddings in New York. The allowed time from the venue, the hall, was 6 hours. So the wedding starts at 6 p.m. and it goes to 12 at midnight. That's in the US. But back in Pakistan, the allowed time is 3 hours. So in 3 hours, if you have to cover at least 3 to 400 people, you gotta be very quick.
Yeah.
So with 3 photographers, what we do is that we make the first photographer stand in front of the stage, so he doesn't miss anyone that who's coming on the stage. The second photographer is making sure he's covering the parents and the main guests and everyone. The third photographer is basically only taking candidates. So we take 3 different kinds of work and then we give it to the client, obviously. That's how it works back in Pakistan.
And what bodies are the guys using?
So not because just I'm sitting at the Nikon corner. No, I love Nikon, man. I love the yellow color, but I love the result that Nikon produces. It's very sharp. The colors are true.
Yeah.
I've used all the other cameras as well, but I genuinely like Nikon. And now for the last couple of years, we've started doing videos on Nikon as well. They are, my God, they're so sharp. They're so nice. There's something like that you want to look again and again to.
Yeah.
So so we have the Z6, the Z5, the Z7, the Z8. We still don't have the Z9. I'm just trying to gather some extra cash for Z9.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get it anyways.
And how are you finding the Z8 for you?
Oh, Z8, I love the Z8. I got the Z8 as soon as it was launched because it's like the Z9, but in a little budget-friendly kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's and a little smaller body.
Yep.
Z9 is a little big, but obviously it's more professional.
Yeah.
But I love the Z8.
And what sort of lenses are your team using for the I guess the post photos, and then you got the candid shots as well?
So I'll tell you my favorite lenses are. One of them is obviously the 35mm, but since everybody's using 35mm, I've added a 20mm, and I have the 85mm as well. 85 has always been my favorite. But obviously it's like every 3 to 4 years the genre or the trend changes. So a couple of years back, everybody loved the portrait photos with blur background, bouquet, good nice bouquets at the back. But now the trend for the last 1.5 or 2 years is more of the white photos now, and more like candid photos. So, but we do both kind of things so that the client doesn't have a problem. But alhamdulillah, what we can say is that everybody likes our work back in Pakistan especially, and maybe people around the world. That's why we get projects from the US and UK as well.
Yeah, so you're doing a lot of weddings in Pakistan, but you're also doing a lot of weddings around the world also. How do, for those that don't know, how do weddings in Pakistan differ from New York and UK and other places?
Yeah. So what I noticed was, I'm not gonna say that the weddings back in Pakistan are unethical. No, it's not like that. But in the US, even if it's what we say is a Gora wedding, it's a Christian wedding, or it's a Pakistani or an Indian wedding, they're different. Because in Pakistani or Indian weddings in the US or in the UK, they wanna have the best time of their lives and they won't care about anything else. They just wanna enjoy. And then, but they will have everything sorted out. They will know which guest is gonna sit where, like the designation for the tables have been assigned in on the weddings in US and UK, but not in Pakistan. Pakistan, if people are supposed to be there on the wedding at 7 p.m., people start showing up at 8:30.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't follow time. That's
I imagine that makes your job quite difficult as well.
It does, because our team gets there a little before time.
Yeah.
And if the wedding is supposed to end by 10 and it doesn't end by 10, the team is still there. Yeah. We can't just leave. But I've noticed with the teams that work abroad in the US or in the UK, if they are supposed to be there by 10 or leave by 10, they will leave even if your event is going on.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to a wedding in Pakistan.
You should.
Weddings in Australia can be quite small and intimate. 20 people, 50 people, 100 people.
Right.
In my head, I envisage Pakistan to be huge weddings with hundreds and hundreds of people.
The smallest wedding that I did in Pakistan was for 300 people.
And that's the smallest.
The smallest. The maximum that I did was for 10,000 people on one day event. 10,000.
Really?
10,000 on a reception.
So talk me through, how do you manage the process of a wedding for 10,000 people?
So that was just once.
That's wild.
It was once. It just happened once. It was a big wedding. It was actually done in a village. So that's like the head of that village. It was his son's wedding. That wedding was for 1 week, and the final day was the reception day. That day they had 10,000 guests. We had around, I think, 20 photographers on that day. and the same number of videographers as well.
That's,
3 drones.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
So
I'm just I'm trying to picture the editing for this, and it's giving me a headache. That's
Yeah.
quite amazing. Okay, so I mean, you've gone you know, expanded to be
Yeah.
something incredible in the wedding industry. If there's someone like me that's not shooting weddings at the moment, but wants to perhaps start small and start shooting weddings, what's your advice to someone that perhaps hasn't shot a wedding yet or has only shot 1 or 2 weddings in terms of some tips and tricks
I understand
for
that.
photography and also for growing their business or their brand
Okay.
in the wedding industry?
I've got a very simple thing to say about this. So what new people do it, what they do it, because so they'll see you, right, doing something nice. They're just gonna copy it. They'll see me doing something. They're just gonna start doing that same thing. I would like to tell everyone that there's a very thin line between copying someone and taking inspiration from something.
Yep.
So we have to, if we like something, we should appreciate it. We should know, or we should try to learn that how they do it, or what made them do this, and then we can take inspiration from it, right?
Yeah.
So and then we can think of something. Just don't do the exact same thing.
Put your own twist on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You will fail the first time and the second one, but then the third time or the fourth time you will succeed.
Yeah.
And what is yours will come to you.
Yeah. So you think it's really important for people to perhaps develop their own style?
Yeah.
Their own.
We lose hope.
Yeah.
We just lose hope. We should not do that. We should believe in ourselves. We should have a very high self-esteem.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Yeah. I mean, I scroll through. If you scroll through your your account, you have a very definite.
My Instagram page, yeah.
Yeah, a very definite style. A very
I'm
obvious,
glad you liked it, man.
Yeah, really nice style, but you're very consistent to your your style. So, and in terms of technique, is there anything that people could change photographically with what they're doing?
So I'll tell you my trick of taking a nice photo. A nice photo, according to me, or according to my perspective, is something that you... So if you see somebody smiling in a picture, you should smile. If you're not smiling, then this is not a good enough picture for you.
I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that.
So, and plus, we emphasize a lot. Let's say if we have to take a picture of a couple, of a bride and groom, we'll tell them to stand straight, look in the camera, and I won't do that. I'd rather crack a joke and see them laughing and looking at each other, and then I'll take a picture. That's like more candid.
Yeah,
And that's what I
amazing.
want to know. That's what I want to see, and that's what I want people to see. Because you gotta smile when you're looking at a picture which is smiling.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I'd love to stay and chat to you for hours, but we can't talk forever because you've actually got a
I've got a workshop
coming
starting
up
now.
right now.
Yeah.
So for the people at Xposure, OPM's got a workshop starting in 10 minutes
Oh,
at
yeah.
the Nikon stand, and we'll be back here very soon with some more guests on the frame by frame with Nikon.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for
I
having
really
me,
appreciate
Andy.
it.
Yeah, same here.
Thanks everyone.